Matt, when did you first learn of Artica?
So, oh boy, when did I first learn of Artica? It probably was it even the first year? Because it was Hapanita, and they were involved, and they were looking for, I think, a nonprofit organization to partner with, so they could have 501(c)(3) status or something like that. It might have been because Chris and Benita were part of the boat launch thing, the Ship of Dreams or whatever. And since there was a parade, they said, "Oh, you might be interested in this." No, it had to have been the first year, because that's when all of this land, all of this behind you was flat, and there were buildings here, and the buildings were all along the side of these train tracks. And there's a local artist named Tom Sleet. I think I just spit some food on your leg, but we're going to ignore that. And he came out here, and he took all of this abandoned industrial material, and he built this elaborate kind of mosaic on the ground, on the concrete by the train tracks all over here. And then, there were these other buildings that people were living in that were back there. What else was big that year? Oh, Leaf did something. He put a bunch of railroad ties together behind this building behind us, and I think he set them on fire or something, and his parents showed up, and they were, that was, I guess that was like the first installation he did here. I think he was working with people over at City Museum, which, there's a City Museum connection with a lot of the people here, either now or 15 years ago or whatever. How many years has it been going on?
Since 2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 20? Yeah.
What has your involvement been over the years?
Well, let's see. So, well, one of the first things I did was I started lighting the porta potties. I don't know I think somebody took that over. I don't know. I didn't do it this year. Which is similar to out at Burning Man. I'm like, no one is doing anything to maintain these porta potties. So I had this whole porta potty lighting thing. But there's a lot of thieves out at Burning Man, and a lot of people just doing whatever the hell they want. And I put all this L wire in there, and they immediately just ripped it out, even though that destroyed the L wire. And I had like things to scent it, but it's so dry out there, you can't smell anything. So even though I had these essential oils to spray out there, they ended up being meaningless because there's no water in the air, and then so it can't activate. Anyway, whatever. So I'm like, okay, well, there's porta potties here. I know how to do that. I'll light them. So I lit them up. That was nice. And then there's a cistern over there, and I've kind of always been interested in having things coming out of the cistern, like light sticks or a parasol, but I've only been doing that for the last couple of years. I helped Elisa just by loaning her some lights when she was doing all the installations up at the end of the street. But I've always just kind of shown up, but then these parasol things that I've been doing in New Orleans for a while, I started doing those, and I thought, well, I'll bring them out here. So I've been bringing them out here for a couple of years, and then this is the first year. Well, over the last couple of years, Artica's always given me maybe $100, 50 at the end of the day. But once they started getting organized and applying for RAC funding, they had more money to give out. And so this year they paid for the cost of the parasols, which is about $12 each. And I'm passing out 40. So they're giving me like $450. So that's great.
Yeah. When the event is going well, people are having a good time, or you're having a good time, what are sort of the ingredients in a good day at Artica in your mind?
Well, it's funny. People And a lot of times this is true with just creative people in general that are interested in each other's little creative thing. So they'll say, hey, what's the deal with that shirt you're wearing? And they, it's just, but it's usually more about something artsy. But it's when people are able to just intrude in other people's space very comfortably.
Sorry, I just saw what's happening. What am I supposed to do?
I've been wondering where you were. It's when people just very freely just stop and smile and, drop a lot of the waspy, social barriers thing. And they don't talk about the weather. They actually talk about what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they talk about the event. And, okay, this guy has looped her into doing something with the ground over there. What the hell is that all about? And she's taking a picture. Well, that's a perfect example. Does he even know her? Do you recognize that guy?
I do know that.
Okay, well, and they're doing. Look at she's digging in the ground. What is that? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's just a series of these fun little adventures, both with your environment and other people. And unlike out in the desert, the mud flat, where the only thing that's there is what you bring. Here, there's a lot more. I mean, the weather's different. Some years it's windy, some years it's cold, some years it's never really wet. There's a hedgehog that lives, big fat one that runs around. He's interesting. There's plants, and there's all different kinds of people because it's easy just to come out here. It's free. You don't have to spend a lot of money. And it's people you might know. Mm-hmm. St. Louis is still kind of a small town in that way, and you're like, oh, don't I know you from when we worked at that bar together or whatever? What did you find in the ground? That's one of the hedgehog holes, I bet. There's a huge, huge hedgehog. He pops his head up over there, might be a sheep. And then also, no, way over there, I mean.
Right there, so maybe that's his neighbor.
Well, no, I think there's a series of them and they might be connected. I don't know. And then also over there where those people are sitting, he pops his head up over there too. But hopefully it's a family. And he's going to skin them and make them into a coat. Did you know that? We're talking about you again.
One last thing.
Okay.
Today, what's your day been like?
Before I got here,
Did a
just
lot of
today?
work go in today, or has this been sort of the process is done and now it's just a matter of?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm 60 years old. I've been doing this for fucking ever, and if I don't have my shit all finished, like a couple weeks beforehand, I'm not happy. Because I know with the creative process, you always think, you wake up in the middle of the night, oh wait, I could add this to it. And if you're rushing up to the end, you don't have that period of time of it being completely open at the end to almost kind of internally reflect on it and then add and tweak and do some changes. Like I added a couple more. I decided I wanted to bring a couple of bigger parasols. I decided I'd bring a couple of these this year because they're bigger, but I'm like, I like those, even though I probably never be able to get them because they've got this nice fringe and they've got a nice, solid stem. But that was a little something I decided to do at the last minute. Also, oh wait, turn around over here so you can see my sparklies. And then it was kind of an idea for me to bring this and to have Miss E and her dazzler sparkly. So your little costumey. So yeah, today's been good, and you all are here from your bi-coastal travels. Oh, and see, this is when things really get going. Look behind you at this guy. I mean, this is like 5 times as many people as there were here just a minute ago. Everybody shows up late. How has your day been?
It's been very good. Brightened by your presence, thank you very much. And I'm glad we finally got to talk. Thank you, man.
If you need more, let me know.
You got it.